In our own hearts, I'm not sure it would have been important to validate Luke's memory. We knew. He talked about too many things that he had no other reference to. His memories surfaced early and were always said with such innocence. He was drawing from something far larger than his present life. Then in 2013, the Lifetime Movie Network's Ghost Inside My Child scheduled Luke in their series. I told Erica, tell the producers what you found online about Pamela Robinson. Maybe they can verify more. Their researchers found a picture of Pam. The producers asked how we felt about testing whether Luke, who was now 5, could identify Pamela Robinson's picture amongst different pictures of African American women. We were unsure if he would be interested or if he would be scared or camera shy. The producers agreed that if he didn't want to be filmed, they would just show him playing with his brother. The filming was done over a 2-day period. The single picture of Pam was shown at the very end. We had not seen the pictures until Luke saw them, which was good because we didn't want the producers to ever feel we had coached him. There were about 8 pictures of African American women for Luke to look at, all printed on one page. Some were older, some were younger. With the cameras rolling, Luke was asked, does anyone look familiar? What does familiar mean? It means, do you know anyone here? Wait a minute, I do. I remember when this was taken of me, though it was the other time. He pointed to Pam's picture and said, that's Pam. You could have knocked any one of us over with a feather that day, including the film crew and producers. It took me a couple of days to wrap my head around it. I couldn't sleep. I thought about it constantly. Even at the time of the airing, Nick was still on the fence. Of course, when Luke picked out the picture, that was pretty much convincing evidence. Nick was prepared to say, at the very least, that he didn't know what to think of it, but he couldn't deny what he witnessed. For Luke, the confirmation seems to have been all he needed to make peace with his past life. He stopped talking about Pam soon after the photo identification was made. Erica spoke to Pam's daughter Jasmine in Chicago after the GIMC, Ghost Inside My Child, show. Erica learned that Pam liked music, was a big Stevie Wonder fan, had a keyboard, and even wrote songs. Luke likes that era of music and had an unusual interest in the keyboard. His favorite toy at one time was a tiny piano that he toted around with him. Erica's chair painting is a unique feature of this case. Was it possible for Erica to intuit Pam's spirit hovering around her while painting the chair? I am convinced that Erica painted Pam's face on the chair. I have a picture of Pam that really hits home. The shape of her face, cheekbones, nose, eyes, and smile match Erica's painting. Not only that, we live in a somewhat rural community. It just begins to blow the mind that there is a background of city buildings and flames painted on the chair. The fact that I wanted to keep the chair, and then all these years later, Luke's memory comes to light and makes me marvel. If the chair had been left with Erica, it might have gone to her dorm or never returned. Something made me keep it and treasure it. Lisa concluded, Luke had a keen observation at an early age and vocalized it. We are all the same on the inside. To illustrate, he said, just look at our teeth. Such wise words told as a 3-year-old would explain it. Most people raised with traditional religious teachings believe our loved ones are in heaven looking over us and waiting to see us one day. However, this sort of news totally shakes things up, and if we choose to embrace it, it forces us to rethink basic religious teachings. I have a deep belief in God. I do not believe he stopped talking to us 2,000 years ago when the Bible was written. What we witnessed with Luke was a divine message that tells us that we shouldn't define the soul by race or gender. It offered a peek into how our soul journey unfolds and is also a validation of heaven. It gives me comfort in the human condition and suffering and allows me to believe that God has a divine purpose while we live our lives out on earth. It is a beautiful story. We never die. We just take one mask off and put on a new one. Out of the mouth of babes.